So Skate, with a period, all lowercase, by EA has been released for a couple of weeks now. It is early access, so just understand this is not the final product. Things are subject to change. But as somebody who grew up playing Skate 3 religiously on the PlayStation 3, and as somebody who absolutely loved that game and subsequently got into skateboarding and skateboarding culture, I have some interesting thoughts about Skate and just the current state of the game. Now, I'm going to talk about the positives first, the things I think are great. I think this is a fun game. It's very enjoyable. Obviously, it's a bit simple right now. There's not much to it in terms of content, especially. There are some missions. There's a pretty decent sized map, actually, that's split into 4 sections. And there are a lot of challenges you can do, and the challenges recycle after a set period of time. I believe it's 24 hours. And there's even a couple of skate parks in this game that will change over time as well. So this game has a bit of a live service model where the challenges will recycle, and completing challenges will earn you rep points, they'll earn you some virtual currency and all that stuff. But as the game is, I think it's very enjoyable. It's missing a lot of things like the Hall of Meat, obviously, one of the best features from the classic skate games. But it's fun to just kind of skate around, to hit some rails, to grind on top of a ledge, and just to see what you can come up with. And this game has a lot of really fun areas you can skate, especially some ramps so you can get tons of speed and you can just coast right off. And I think that's really fun. So as I mentioned, the gameplay, it's good. It's not great. It's missing a lot of things, as I said earlier. But in terms of like a balance between realism and just kind of being a little silly and spin dashing about, I think it's a good balance. The lack of content, as I mentioned earlier, it's early access. But the lack of content is kind of setting in now. The game's a little stale right now for me, at least. Of course, the classic skate game had like a whole story mode where you have a team of skaters and you compete for reputation points and all that stuff, and then you could actually meet real pro skaters like the host of Ridiculousness, Rob Deerdeck, and all that stuff. And they probably will add that stuff in the full release of this game, if the full release is even free to play, which it probably will be because EA are money hungry, as you know. Speaking of money hungry, my biggest concern with this game, as of now, microtransactions and just the monetization. Now, this is nothing new with video games, especially online video games in the last decade or so. Games like Fortnite absolutely will sell you things. My biggest complaint about this game, and maybe it's just because, I've been around for a while, I hate the idea of not being able to unlock cosmetics through just natural gameplay. Like, I think this game should have the ability to unlock, like, clothing items or, board accessories through just normal gameplay. You don't have to worry about purchasing loot boxes. You don't have to worry about a 1 in 12 chance of getting that specific deck that you want. You don't have to worry about, hey, this is 4 real life actual dollars to buy this set of wheels. I just think that's ridiculous. Like, if anything, you should be able to just complete challenges. Maybe you perform certain tricks and you can earn money that way. And then you can walk into like a skate shop or a clothing shop in game and they have a selection of items. Like you can go specifically to the wheels section and they'll have 10 to 15 different sets that you can just go and buy. Like, hey, these wheels cost $150. I got to go skate around for a little bit before I can buy those. Obviously, some are going to be more expensive than others. But I think that is way, way, way better. If you still want to monetize this game, have premium items, whatever. But I just think the fact that the only cosmetics you earn in this game is either by leveling up, which they give you like 13 different grip tape colors. Do you want this specific deck art? Well, there's a 1 in 12 chance of you getting it, dude. It's just like, I don't like the loot boxes system. Like, as I said, it's simulated gambling. That's what it is. They say, hey, guess what? We're going to give you 13 things you don't want before we give you the one thing that you do want, because we want you to keep coming back. And, as I said, I don't really like that. I think I've stayed on this topic a little too long, but to put it simply, to recap, whatever it may be, I don't like the loot box system. I'm not a big fan of the microtransactions. Just allow us to have like an offline skate shop. This game has skate shops in it that just bring you right back to the store, which is useless because you can just pause the game and go there anyway. But whatever. Another thing I'm not a big fan of course, this is more so like a minor complaint. This game is online only. You have to be online to play it. That means if the servers are down, if the servers are going through maintenance, if you're having internet issues, sorry, you can't play it. And another thing too, if this game ever shuts down in the future, which it's bound to happen eventually, as all things are, you won't be able to play this game again. It'll just be a whisper in the wind, to quote Jeff Hardy. And also, when I first started this game as well, there's like an online queue. Like I had to wait like a minute and a half before I was able to actually play the game, which I'm sure there's some sort of a server reason for it. I just thought it was pretty unique. I'm like, wow, I've got to wait for this game to, queue me up. But like, whatever. I suppose that's not that big of a deal. But one thing I really do like about this game too is the fact that you're playing with other players at the same time. This really does feel kind of populated. There are certain areas in the game in which a lot of players just congregate to. There was a parking garage, I believe somewhere, I can't remember exactly what it was on the map, but there's a parking garage and that leads to like, I guess a church that's like right across the road. And when you get to the top of the parking garage, there's like this big incline. It's like a huge ramp that gives you tons of speed. And I was basically coughing, or Christ airing into the church. And it was me and 15 other skaters just simultaneously just trying to, I guess, land anything inside this church, which of course we had about a 99% failure rate. But it was very fun to just do that, like you really do feel like you're in some sort of a community here. And in this skate park here, me and this one guy just took turns back and forth, just kind of going down the ramp and, boosting ourselves in the air and just doing various tricks. And for about 10 to 15 minutes, me and this guy just, as I mentioned, took turns doing tricks. And I don't know who that guy was. He's a complete stranger. As a matter of fact, he was a PC player, so it was like cross-play. We were complete, like, friends for 15 minutes. And I always find that to be probably the best thing about online gaming. It's just you don't know who this guy is, but you're brought together by a common goal, and that's just to skate around. Of course, one of the best things of any skateboarding video game would be the music. The Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games are absolutely known for having incredible soundtracks. And the classic skate games, which is a bit weird to say classic, maybe I should just say previous instead, had really good copyrighted soundtracks as well. Of course, this game does have some copyrighted music in it, and some of the music you have to unlock by scanning speakers, cars that drive by in order to collect songs, which I think is kind of strange. And you can make custom playlists, so you only hear the songs that you like. And I always thought it was great to discover new music. And this game even has Panda Bear as one of the artists of Animal Collective, which is really cool because he was in Random Access Memories. So that's nice. This game does have some pretty wonky physics from time to time too, which I think is really funny when you see it happen, like you hit a rail and you go flying through the air about 20 feet. I always think it's really, really fun when that happens. Coach V is another thing I'd like to talk about. A lot of people don't really like her. You can disable her entirely so she won't comment on anything. Coach V is alright, she's no Jason Lee or anything like that, Coach Frank. But, I think she's alright. A little bit of personality adds spice to her game, so I think she's fine. The last thing I want to touch on in Skate is simply just, is this game as bad as some people would say? It's simply just a matter of opinion. It's all subjective, I like this game. I don't love it. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. It's fun. You can definitely play it for about an hour and have some fun with it. It does get stale. It does get a bit repetitive after a while if you do challenges over and over, because some of the challenges are exactly the same. But if you just kind of skate around, hit some lines, and just try to find new stuff and really explore, this game's a lot of fun. And it's lacking in content, as I mentioned earlier, but that stuff can be added later. But overall, I do think Skate, with a period, all lowercase, is very enjoyable, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where this goes in the future.